honeysuckle soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region Today. I'm so happy you're joining us today. We've got really a great lineup, as always. I say that every week, but it's true. We do have a great lineup today. We're going to be talking about theater. We're going to be starting out our show with talking about Girl from the North Country, and that's here at Proctors. We'll also be talking about Harbinger Theater's production, and there's Mrs. Packard. We're going to find out who Mrs. Packard was and why they're doing a play about her. Anyway, and then we'll be talking about the Festival of Trees, and that happens every year, and this is no exception. And you're going to want to go there. It's just a small price to go in there and enjoy all those beautiful trees that people have decorated. And then we're going to be talking about, oh yeah, taxes again. Yep, we got taxes. But we have Richard Zazycki here to tell us how we can get those done for free and how he might even help you. And then we're going to be talking about the Beat the Snow concert, and of course that's over at Schenectady Library, with Friends of the Library are doing that, and it's a great lineup. They're running from December all the way out to almost the end of April. So great stuff coming up. We're going to start right out. Our first segment here is with Jeremy Webb. He plays a Reverend Marlowe, I believe, in Girl from the North Country.
You got it. Yeah.
Tell us about that. Bob Dylan? Who doesn't love Bob Dylan?
Yeah. It's an amazing new musical based on using all the music of Bob Dylan.
So it takes place, what, 1934?
1934, Duluth, Minnesota.
So it's his older music.
No. He uses music from the 60s, 70s, 80s,
Okay.
90s, the 2000s.
Okay.
Conor McPherson, this incredibly talented Irish playwright, was given the rights to all of his songs. And was able to create his own original theater piece, a new musical based around all of Bob's catalog.
Okay.
So he was given the entire catalog. So there's some stuff you would definitely know, like Rolling Stone and Forever Young and Hurricane, and also some stuff that, like myself, for instance, as a non-aficionado of Bob's music, there's some surprises in there as well.
Yeah. Now you play Reverend Marlowe,
Yes.
and now according the Reverend, in quotes, yeah. We know about that. But
Bible
anyway,
salesman. You know how Bible salesmen are. Yeah.
So the premise of the play or the musical is that these people all find themselves in the same place
In this boarding house.
at the same time.
Mm-hmm. In the week leading up to Thanksgiving in 1934. So it's the height of the Depression. You have a businessman there who's down on his luck, who's sort of lost everything, and the family that runs the house is dealing with some issues within their own family. And then these two strangers show up. Myself, this reverend, this mysterious reverend, and another young gentleman who sort of sweep into the home and sort of change everyone's lives for the good and for the better over the course of the 3 days leading up to Thanksgiving in 1934.
So you were not familiar with this when you auditioned for it, or were you?
I went to the invited dress at the Broadway production, so I had seen the show.
You saw it, okay.
But before I was asked to audition for the tour, I had never done the show before.
Okay.
We have 4 of the cast members from Broadway with us on this.
Oh,
national tour,
nice, touring with you.
Exciting for
Yeah.
us. Yeah. But this was my first time working on the show.
So tell me about Jeremy Webb.
Jeremy Webb from Ithaca, New York.
You're a local boy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Went to performing arts school in Albany at a place called ASIPA that no longer exists, at the Egg.
I remember. I used to go to those productions.
Yeah. So a lot of connections to this area. Love being back here. I woke up in the hotel this morning and it was snowing outside, and I was like, wow, I'm home.
Oh, how sweet. And so now you're on a tour of this fabulous musical, because who doesn't love Bob Dylan's music? Right. And to see, how big is your cast?
We're 22 with the swings and offstage
Oh
covers.
my goodness, that's a lot.
Band of 5.
Okay.
And then also...
Are they on stage?
They're on stage with us the whole time.
How cool.
They interact with us. They are in costume and play members of the boarding house as well. And then also a traveling crew of 10. Excuse me. So I think we travel with a group of about 40. and then we're joined.
And
by-
you're using all the hotels, and we've got some great restaurants here.
Yeah, what's good? Where should I go? Johnny's? Is that the place to
Johnny's
go?
is good, but Ambition is always popular.
Right,
You know,
check
got to go
out
to,
Ambition.
and there's Simone's. There's a lot of, I'm sorry if I missed anybody. We do have a lot of great restaurants here.
Awesome.
Yeah, and of course, Asian fusion, and we got it all, yeah.
Yeah, we're on the road with Girl from the North Country for a year. So we're playing
You're
35
gone for a
cities.
year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were in Des Moines last week. We're at the Kennedy Center next week. And thrilled to be here at Proctors this week. I mean, it's like...
And you're here
it's a lot.
right now.
We're
That's
here right
really
now.
great.
Yeah.
So what would you tell people why they should see this play? What is the message that they're going to walk away with?
Well, I think one of the great things about this show is that you really get to experience Bob's lyrics in a new way. You know, people know
He's
him
a poet.
He is a poet. He is a poet. He's the modern American troubadour.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so experiencing his songs put in young people's voices. You know, in other walks of life, in all of humanity as it comes through the boarding house. That's, I think, one of the many treasures of this show. I think it's also a deeply moving show. I mean, there's definitely catharsis at play in our show. It's the depression, right? So it's not. I'm not going to say that it's not that it's a depressing show, but it's full of life. It's infused with everything that is life comes into this boarding house at one time or another. So you've got love, you've got humor, you've got a romance, and you've also got some tragedy as well. It's sort of all packed in.
And this was all written by
Connor McPherson is his name.
Okay, wow.
He's a genius.
What else
he's
has he done, or
Ireland's-
do you know?
Oh yeah, his big hit was a play called The Weir on Broadway.
Okay.
He also had a show called Shining City on Broadway.
Okay.
It's just been announced that he's writing the stage adaptation of The Hunger Games, which will premiere.
Oh
on
my
West
gosh, I
next
can't even
fall.
imagine that one.
He's working with Elvis Costello on
Oh
a new
my
musical
God.
at the Almeida Theatre
Really?
in London, based on the Polish film Cold War. He's like an incredible artist.
Okay.
And his writing is in the tradition of, I would say, all of like the great Irish playwrights from Oscar Wilde to Oliver Goldsmith right on down.
And they have
Really
such
nice.
passion. The Irish
Yes. Yes.
their playwrights or their books and everything. There's
All of
always
it.
seems to be such.
Yeah,
I
zest
kind of
for
like
life,
it brings
right?
it right up there.
Yeah. Like you think, it's not exactly Banshees of Inisherin, but if you think of that film from last year that was Oscar nominated,
Yeah.
the vibe of that Irish country vibe. Although this play takes place in Minnesota in 34, it's infused with some of that great, as you say, that Irish zest of life.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Jeremy, it's been a pleasure to meet you,
You
and
as
I'm
well.
looking forward to see you on stage.
Yeah, when will you come to the show?
Tomorrow night.
Okay, great.
I'm going to be there, and with bells on.
Come back and say hi afterwards.
I will.
Okay.
It's such a pleasure to meet you,
You as
and to
well.
know that you're going to be on the road for a whole year.
I know.
Yeah, well, right to your
We'll have
mom.
fun. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's a Girl from the North Country. You got to get your tickets to that. They're still available at Proctors, and they're be happy to sell them to you. So right now we're going to switch over to Harbinger Theater, and Chris Foster is the director, and Jennie is part of the cast.
That's right.
Who is Mrs. Packard?
So Mrs. Packard was a wife and mother of 6 children who was married to a minister of the Calvinist faith. And in 1861, one day she was suddenly abducted from her home and taken to a lunatic asylum. Because in those days, a husband could have the wife declared without any evidence and without any public hearing.
Is that right? Is this true?
It is true, yeah.
That they could
There are
really
many
do
things
something?
in this. She has taken some license, but there are many true things in this play, and that's one of them. So the play takes place in between her.
Got your microphone, right?
What?
Oh, you're
That's
he's
here.
mic'd. Okay,
I'm mic'd.
good. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure because I saw it down here. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, it takes place between 1861 and 1864. 1864 was she finally did get a trial but but it also takes place from 1861 to 1864 when she was in the asylum and she was trying to get out.
Okay, I'm just overwhelmed by this. The fact that a man, because he's ticked off at her for some reason, wants to
She
raise-
disagreed with him.
Oh, she just, well, of course we can't do that.
Right, and
So
and
he
his
was
and
willing-
in particular his religious views.
Calvinist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So he agreed, he was happy with taking care of 6 kids, right?
No, he was not happy with doing that. But he felt like she was endangering their spiritual welfare, and so therefore he wanted to put her away.
Okay, so Jenny, how do you fit into this? And if you hold the mic up a little
Sure.
closer.
I'm one of the ensemble cast, so I play Miss Sarah Rumsey, who is one of the people testifying to declaring that Mrs. Packard is insane.
Is?
Because
Oh, you're
I'm
an
one
nasty
of the
person.
parishioners, yes. I'm not a very nice character. And I'm an actual person, which is really interesting. So when I went to go do a little bit of research about Sarah Rumsey, and I went back into some historical archives and looked at the script, I realized that the words coming out of my mouth on stage as Sarah Rumsey were the words coming out of Sarah Rumsey's mouth in the actual testimonies. So the playwright is really true to the story. It's very historically accurate.
The playwright actually went in and got the documents.
Yes,
They got
extensive
the
research.
transcripts and could put this all together.
Yep.
Wow. Brilliant, brilliant piece.
Well, and one of the things that she did while she was in the asylum is she noticed how the patients were treated and abused, and
I was
she
going to say the abuse side.
and she started documenting that. And at first, she tried to tell the leader of the asylum about that, and he chose to punish her, and he put her in with the violently and very ill patients.
They didn't have Prozac then,
And then finally, when she did get out, she started changing the whole asylum system based on, started writing books about it, and then laws were changed.
So she was a pretty, I mean, if this had never happened to her, then probably things would not have changed in the asylums. So the fact
Absolutely.
that she went in there, I mean, she didn't want to go, but she did go there and was able to turn that around.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of the reasons that we don't, I'm ashamed that I never heard of her before, but one of the reasons
Thank you very much.
I think that we never heard about it was because it is during the Civil War, and that was the front page, every day.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some notoriety about it, but it was eclipsed by the Civil War
Don't
news.
you wonder how the author even discovered this?
Yeah, interestingly enough, there's a recent book out.
Yeah, Kate Moore.
Kate Moore, go ahead.
Kate Moore. So the play that we do, it was written in 2012, and I'm not sure how she came across Mrs. Packard and did this play, but very recently Kate Moore was looking at the news and watching over and over again women be called crazy. Greta Thunberg and Nancy Pelosi just being called crazy, and the way that women were just discredited by that statement. And she thought, I wonder if a woman has ever been able to prove that she wasn't crazy. And she Googled it and came up with Mrs. Packard because of her trial after she got out of the asylum. So that was the start of her research. And so we have this really great book that kind of corresponds. So if anyone's in a book club right now and reading The Woman They Could Not Silence by Kate Moore, come to our play because it's basically this story on stage.
Yeah, it's an amazing story because she did. So how did she get out? I mean, I know they got to come to the play to see it, but give us an idea of.
So
I mean,
she got out. The only reason she got out was because they said she was incurable. So they released her, saying that she was still insane. And when they released her, she was imprisoned then in her house. And in those days, you could imprison somebody in an asylum, without any hearing, but you couldn't do it in your house. And she was able to slip a note out to one of her neighbors, and then the judge said, okay, we have to have a hearing. And then there was a trial. So, she went from being in this asylum to being imprisoned in her own home.
Can you even imagine what went through her to do? Where did this happen? What state?
Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah.
So how big is your cast?
Cast.
You have one cast member. Here, I know.
It's
16.
16.
I know that I saw that it's one of the largest productions you've done, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
So how did you cast it?
So we had auditions for it, but honestly I was very fearful because it is December, which is a big holiday time, and 16 people, that's a lot of people to put together, and everybody has conflicts, and
And rehearsals, I mean,
Right.
you probably do scenes and things, I mean, but it's hard when you have that many.
It is. I was able to break it down a little bit as far as like who was called each night,
Yeah.
based on all the scenes that had to do with testifying and all the scenes that had to do in the wards and the asylum, that kind of thing.
Now, we know that Jennie testified. Were there other women that testified, Jennie?
Yes, there were.
They were against her, but how could they testify against her when they really didn't know her? Or I mean, what do you make up to say the person is crazy?
Well,
I hate that
it
word.
was more because there were people who were part of Mr. Packard's parish.
Calvinists, yeah.
The people who were declaring her crazy were the ones in his parish and saying she's a troublemaker, she is unnatural, her religious fervor is not in alignment with our faith, so she's crazy. And so I think she wants to get along with going. I also think my character has a little bit of a thing for Mr. Packard, but it was, as far as the rehearsal process, it was really, as a cast member, it was exciting to go and do my bits for the testimonies and see all that, and then go and do some asylum parts, but to come to rehearsals in the final week and see everything together, because it was the first time a lot of us had seen the opening scene and with scenes with Elizabeth and Mr. Packard and Dr. McFarland, and it was exciting for us to watch. It's a great show.
I mean, it's sure when you're in rehearsal, you're rehearsing your parts and things, and then when it all comes together and you go, wow, this is really amazing. And of course, Chris is a great director.
Oh, go on.
No, he is. I mean, and you've been in theater a lot.
I have.
I know that. How many plays have you directed? I mean, you probably don't even keep count anymore.
I don't keep count anymore. It's quite a few.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, yeah. And you've been with Harbinger Theater along with Patrick Wright.
Yes.
To
Yep.
that,
We just had our second birthday.
And your mission is to kind of pull plays that most people.
Yeah, we look for playwrights who we feel are underrepresented, or and plays that most folks won't touch for whatever reason. We like to.
Commercial reason, they probably figure it's not going to make any money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing Mrs. Packard in December, so we're not doing Santaland Diaries or anything, or Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the ones that everybody does at Christmas.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's great. Where is this being performed?
This is being performed at the Albany Barn.
Okay. Are you doing it in the round?
So
stage?
interesting, we're doing it both on stage and on the ground as well, but not in the round.
Oh, not in the round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's three major
the
different.
last one I was at, it was like in the.
That's right. We like changing the space
Yeah.
to suit the.
And they're very good to you.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah. And the Albany Barn is located
56 Second Street.
2nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think, is that a one-way street? There's kind of a.
It is a one-way street, yeah.
I just wanted to mention that you have to kind of figure out on your GPS how to get that.
It's very close to the Ten Breck Mansion.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
and very close to the Palace Theater as well.
Exactly. You just go right by that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad, and there is a fee for it. It's ticketed.
Yes, $15 though. Very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
All performances are at 7:30 p.m. I just like to say that because in the old days, it was always 8 o'clock for shows.
Yeah, and well, I know even like at Proctors, their Tuesday performance is at 7:30, and then it goes to 8 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you really need to look and see what time. Always go early to the theater so that you're never late.
Please.
You get a good seat.
That's right.
Right. Thank you both for being here, and please say hi to Patrick
I
for
will.
me.
Thank you.
And we didn't mention who's playing the lead.
Kathleen Carey is playing Mrs. Packard,
Okay.
and Carrie Casimira Whitstrom is playing Dr. McFarlane.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is going to be an exciting play.
They're doing great.
I'm going to make every effort to see it. Because
Please do.
It sounds like a wonderful play to see.
I think you'll enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I know. I enjoy everything you guys do. You're going to be so good. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
We're going to switch right over. Hey, hi, how are you? We're going to be talking about those festival of trees.
I helped put up a few, but I will just want to thank you for having me today. My name is Caroline Brown. I'm with the Schenectady County Historical Society,
Right, exactly.
celebrating our Festival of Trees, which actually is in its 17th season this year, which is really incredible.
Yeah, now, in the past, you've also done it with the YWCA.
That's correct. That's correct. We are just going solo this year, but our galleries are filled with different trees. We have just under 60 trees. I think about 56. Yep. Really packed to the gills, truly.
Oh, well, of course, you have one hanging upside down, so that takes
I'm not sure if I'm even counting that one, to be honest. It's just a wonderful opportunity because individuals, families, nonprofit organizations, businesses, really anyone can come and sponsor a tree. And what that means is that they have come, set up their tree, decided on a theme. Some are, lean more traditional, kind of holiday theme. Others really go wild with their theme and have just really incredible kind of different sort of ideas for what they're doing on the Christmas tree.
I remember that in the, I guess we got trouble with sound. What am I doing? Oh, my microphone fell off. Good grief, thank you for catching that. I hope they heard me. Well, anyways, there I am. Maybe I should just hold it. I have trouble with this microphone here. So we used to have one that sat on the table and I could handle that one, but this one is, I'll just hold it. Is that okay if I hold it? Yeah, okay, good. We're always a work in progress. I know. I was at one of the shows, the Christmas trees, and they had done one, I think, with all mittens.
Right, exactly.
And then the mittens were donated afterwards.
Yes. Oh, that's lovely, lovely. to
Yeah, I
hear.
don't know if they did that this year, but they have
I'm
done.
not sure if I've seen a mitten tree, but certainly many other really diverse types of different trees. So I
Yeah.
can share a little bit about just a few. We're very lucky to be sponsored this year by Kingsway Community. And
Oh,
as
Kingsway
part
is doing it. They're really a good
It's
organization.
been really a pleasure to work with them.
Yeah.
And they have decorated a tree in the theme of gnomes for the holidays.
Oh, how cool.
So a little play on words.
Where did they
there.
find the gnomes?
They actually, all of the ornaments, which are gnome themed in different, different ways, were made by residents of Kingsway. So it's really special to see that all together, and it looks absolutely stunning. So that's really just a lovely tree.
So what is the most unusual tree? Because I'm going to get over there and see it. What is the most unusual
I
tree?
would say our most unusual tree is a tree that is entirely pink. And
Pink.
that is by, I believe, the name of the hair salon is Pinup Jordan's Mermaid Lounge. So
What?
entirely pink tree, wild colors of ornaments.
But pink.
But pink. So it really not only brings a lovely sort of pop of color to the other sort of green trees, but also really ties in nicely to what their business does with
Yeah.
hair styling, hair coloring, and it's just totally fun.
Well, that's an unusual tree. Give me some of the names of the organizations that have put trees up, so we can give them a shout out for because they're supporting you when they do
really
this.
are. It's really wonderful. And I really would like to highlight especially the organization, the Blue Star Mothers of America.
Blue
Have-
Star. I know the Gold Star, but what's the Blue Star?
That's right. This is an organization that supports family members and families of folks in active military service or veterans.
Okay.
And this organization has decorated 2 trees, one in honor of Blue Star families and one in honor of Gold Star families,
Okay.
which you may know.
I mentioned, yeah.
Those who have perished
Yeah.
in the line of duty.
Yeah.
So those trees really stand at the center of our first room and are just a beautiful tribute to our military, people who serve in the military
Exactly.
in this country. So
Yeah.
we're really pleased to have that there as well.
So the blues are, so who else? Then give me a few.
Another really fun one is the...
I'm putting you on the,
No,
the
no.
spot, right,
We have
Carolyn?
lots of great ones to highlight. I'm pleased to do it.
Okay, good.
We have the Schenectady, what's called the Schenectady Old Timers Baseball Club. And so this is a group.
Who knew?
This
Who
is
knew?
a group of maybe older gentlemen in their sort of retirement years who are passionate about baseball, baseball's history, baseball of today, and we have a lot of baseball going on in this area. So they run different training camps for youth to grow skills, things like that. And so they have decorated a tree. The baseball theme has cards and
Oh, cool.
baseballs and all of that. So really quite a variety of different things.
That's a very unusual, because I'd never heard of this group, so that's really cool. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Any?
One other one which is very interesting, which I think might be very popular.
Because we're giving you teasers so that you come to see this.
I hope you will. One that I think might be very popular with children is a tree that's done by the, I want to say it's a group, Electric City Technology is their
Okay.
name. And their theme of their tree is technology, but it has sort of a drone theme, interestingly enough. And
It doesn't take off, does it?
doesn't, but it does have, its tree topper is a mechanical drone. So it kind of sticks out from the tree and encircles the tree. And
Oh,
it's
my.
really a sight to see. So I would definitely recommend that one, especially for young kids. Who
Well,
might
you
like
know
to
what my
come.
next question is going to be, what happens to these trees afterwards?
Well, I'm happy to say that they are artificial trees. So we do store them and reuse them year to year.
Okay.
Other groups can bring in their own trees as well. So they're welcome to take
So they
the
take their
tree.
ornaments off and take them
Exactly,
with them.
Exactly.
And you really store them?
We do in our basement.
Where the heck do you do that?
Very close together in the basement.
Because I know that you have, you've redone the library.
That's right. Mhm.
Your library is amazing. I want to give them a shout out for their library.
Thank you.
I've used it.
Thank you.
And
Great.
I can tell you that if you go in there to look up one thing, you're going to be there at least 2 hours because something else, oh my gosh, look at this. How old is this? And you handle things, well, I mean, I'm very careful when I handle anything like that. I usually bring gloves with me because you don't want to, put oil on any of that stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
But I found a lot of family history.
It's amazing. It's truly a treasure trove of information, and I would encourage anyone interested in learning about family history based in Schenectady County to contact our librarian, Marietta Carr. And you can find her contact information on our website, schenectadyhistorical.org. And you can make an appointment with her, and she can help really anyone interested in learning about various topics of Schenectady history, whether it's family history, history of the home you might own. That's another very popular reason people do research in the library. So there's lots of opportunity to search in the library and truly a wealth of information there.
Yeah, and it's funny because, and they have some really great city directories. And those city directories they don't do them anymore, but for years they did city directories, which were a book about that thing. And it listed every home and who lived in there and everything. But I had to look back at, I think it was like the census or something, or I was looking at something. And I'm looking, and it's the person's name, and it says LAB after. And I go, they worked in a lab. And I'm going down there, and I'm going, these people didn't all work in a lab. And I'm thinking, laborer. The old light bulb went over my head. It's like, oh, my goodness. But it was funny how those are the things that you don't even realize until you start looking it up. I also noticed that you got a $35,000. Tell us about that.
We're very pleased to be supported by the New York State Council of the Arts again this year. So their support really helps us with not only our operations, but our artistic programs that we do. I would say on average, we probably host at least 1, if not 2 to 3 programs per week with the Historical Society amongst our 3 historic sites. So there's truly many, many opportunities for people to come and enjoy, but this support from NISCA really means a lot to help us.
I think,
to
didn't you have Bill
continue.
Buell there recently, or was it?
Bill Buell is fortunately there very often. We're
Yeah.
pleased to see him.
He's
all the time.
a great guy. He
Wonderful
really is.
person,
Does
yeah.
some wonderful
Really
things.
an asset to
And
the
is
program.
I think Michael, is he still doing tours?
Absolutely. So my colleague Mike Diana is our educator and director of programs, and he leads the most incredible tours.
He does. I went
speak
on
about
one of them, and
anything.
it's like I was hanging on every
Truly.
word,
Absolutely.
and no notes. He's just got it all up here.
Exactly right. So there's this wealth of information about Schenectady County history and beyond, and he can truly answer any question you might have, niche or broad, anything. And all of the different tours that we have on offer are tailored in different ways. So the tours kind of renew and refresh. So if you've been on one in the past,
It's going to
encourage you
change,
come
yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I went to one of them. The most recent one was the one in Little Italy, and we went into Parecas and
Oh.
everything.
What a wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure
was a very
delicious
good one.
experience, yeah.
We haven't touched on, because some of the people might not be familiar with what you do, which is an amazing what they do. Let's talk about the Maybe Farm and what's happening there. You had trouble with the roof, was it, or something?
A couple of years ago, I think there was trouble with the roof, and
You were raising money, I noticed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, raising? Yeah, well, that's.
raising the roof. Exactly.
No pun
right.
intended. Okay.
This year, our work with that actually continues. We've had a group of engineers come in and do a site assessment, and this is for our Maybe Farm historic site, dates to 1705 in Rotterdam.
The oldest
Junction.
one, yeah.
Oldest farmhouse in the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah.
And we're right on the river. It's a beautiful location.
They have little animals and they
yes,
have
we
fun.
do.
Yeah, they have it all.
We do. We have some very fun animals.
Yeah.
The engineers looked at the entire site, and they assessed the different preservation needs. It did total over $500,000. So we certainly have our work cut out for us.
Wow.
To make sure that these structures are around for another century.
Yeah.
This end of the year, we're focusing our year-end appeal on just one portion of that project, and that's for our brick house structure.
What is
So
the brick house structure?
It's just steps away from the Maybe farmhouse, and dates to about the 1760s. And over the course of its life, has had many chapters, was used as a storage facility, used as extra housing, but there is something we really would like to learn more about, and to do that, we do need to preserve the structure, and that's that we believe that the structure was used as housing for the enslaved individuals at Maybe Farm. So to be able to make sure this structure is
Yeah, because they
secure-
would have had slaves, right?
Exactly right.
It's
Slavery
not a part of history we really want to
of course,
be happy about, but it was there.
It's a fact of history,
Yeah.
and one we need to shed more light on.
Exactly, and realize what built
Exactly.
many of our farms. I mean, we think, oh, Joe Blow, owned this farm, and look what he did. No, he didn't do it all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
he used people that were slaves, and to do the work, or they were indentured. They owed money, and until they paid it off. That's how they paid it off. Yeah, isn't that what they call it? Indentured
Yes,
slaves? Yeah,
exactly,
right. You
exactly.
got that right.
So our hope is that in stabilizing the structure and creating greater access, especially to the basement space, that we can learn more about the lived experience of the enslaved individuals, and also allow for public access to view these spaces, which are just not safe to access.
Right, and then you have the education center, which is an amazing building.
That's exactly
And
right.
you have the art displays sometimes and events there as well, yeah.
Absolutely right. Mhm.
So we're going to get back to the Festival of Trees, and how long will that be up?
So it'll be up through the 23rd of
Okay.
December. So we still have several weeks, and really right up until the holidays.
Okay, good. So anybody can go to this. It's $6 a person, right?
Exactly right. $6.
And it raises money for
it's a fundraiser for us at the Historical
Yeah,
Society.
yeah.
So it really helps us not only offer an opportunity to celebrate the season with our community and welcome so many people into our galleries during this season, but it helps us to keep doing the things we do throughout the year.
Yeah, and I'm really glad, but I'm thinking of your place and thinking 60 trees.
Yes.
I'm assuming some of them are this big, but
There's a
no.
variety of sizes, but yeah, it's really
No,
fun
I
to
know,
do.
because I've been there. I know what you do,
Of course.
Carolyn.
Great.
It's a pleasure to meet you. This
You
is
as
your
well.
first
Thank
time
you.
on the
Yes,
show,
thank you
so
so much
please
for
come
having me.
again.
I
And
will.
it's so nice. And say hi to Mary for me and Michael.
Yes.
You have a great team over there, and I know I love the Historical Society.
I'm so glad.
It's for the county, Schenectady County Historical Society. If you don't know about it, hightail it over there and check out what they have. They have some wonderful exhibitions there. They've had costumes, they have clothing, they've done everything, you name it, it's there. The immigrants, and so check it out. And you know what? Write them a check, become a member.
Thank you.
Right, good. Nice to talk to you.
You too.
Happy holidays to you, too. And we're going to switch right over here, and we're going to talk about what's coming up in 2024. Oh, my gosh, again. Every year. Can't we skip a year?
No.
Richard Zazycki is with us. He's with Circles of Mercy. And whoops, oh, man. I don't know. This sound is not working for me. Is it still working, or did I break it? I don't know.
No, it's still working.
It's underneath my chair. Let me look. Excuse me. That's why we do this. Here we are. Okay.
Good to be back, Ann.
Yeah,
Nice to see
good
you.
to see you. Yes.
Pleasure.
And Circles of Mercy is doing a lot of good work. I know that you not only do this, but you do some other. Tell our viewers what you do over
Yeah,
there.
well, basically the...
Besides taxes.
Yeah, our organization's been in existence for the last 25 years. It's a sponsored work of the Sisters of Mercy, and our focus is to provide programs and services to the Rensselaer community with a special focus on women and women with children.
And you do a lot with that.
Yeah, right now we're in the process of doing our adoptive family program. We have about 40 families that we've been able to match up with an adopter, provide a modest gift list of the family's needs, and they wrap the gifts, bring them in, and then we get them to the family.
Do you kind of like tell them about what sizes you're looking for
Right,
and
it's
things?
a
So
deta- right.
it's kind of catered to a certain family.
Most of the requests, except for the kids wanting toys.
Toys, yeah.
Yeah, most of the requests is for clothing or
'Cause
house.
that's going to last.
Yeah, so we get sizes of shirts and the pants and preference of color and what they're looking for in terms of slacks or blouses or shirts. And we put together a pretty detailed list. My administrative assistant, Candace Brady, coordinates that program. And we work, besides with individual donors, we work with Broadview. They adopted 3 families.
That's the one that was CEFCU.
CEFCU,
Yeah.
right. We partner with Siena College, and we also partner with another sponsor work of the Sisters Maria College. So we were able, with all the adopters, to take care of 40 families. So those gifts will begin to start to come in the end of this week and next week, and then the week of the 18th, we get them out to the families.
How do you choose the families? Do you work with social services or?
No, well, some of them are clients that are already registered. We have people on a waiting list, so what we try to do is reach into the waiting list and have the families get adopted that way. It pains me that we're only able to do, the goal is 50, but right this year we've only been able to do about 40.
Okay.
So just a sign of the times in terms of the inflation and the economy. But for the most part, it's part of Catherine McCauley's charism of reaching out to those people in the community that have the resources, that have the abilities, and then partnering them with families that don't have anything. and are living, week to week.
Week to week. I mean, we
existence.
kind of forget that, as we go about our business and looking at should I buy that or do this or whatever, that there are families that are just eking out enough money for food.
Oh, absolutely. And then you add into that the need for rent, the need for medication, if they've got a sick child. I mean, they have a lot of expenses that you and I take for granted
Yeah.
because we have good hospitalization, we got some money in our pocket, and we're able to meet what comes down the road.
And it's not because they haven't tried. It's usually something that's occurred in the family
Right.
that's created this situation
sort
that
of
they're trying to
crisis,
pull
right.
themselves out of.
Yeah. So kudos to our adopters, and we just keep trying to do what we can do in the spirit and tradition of the Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of that is to get money back into the community, right? And you
Correct.
get it back into the community by,
Getting their taxes done for free.
yeah,
Circles has been a long time participant in the VITA program.
volunteers.
Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, promoted by the IRS. They provide the training, they provide us with the software. The clients will begin to take calls towards the end of January, and then we will do returns February, March, and then right up to the filing date
Okay, yeah.
of April 15th.
April 15th.
So the limit is $65,000. We can prepare both federal and state. We always recommend that you have a checking account or a savings account.
Yeah, so the money can go directly
It goes
into it.
directly as soon as the return is processed. The refund, federal refund, normally gets posted within 7 to 10 business
It
days.
comes in pretty fast.
Yeah. The state takes a little bit longer. Part of that delay is the state actually audits everybody's return before they send out the refund, where the federal
I
government...
know that twice
Yeah.
they audit, they do their own audit. And I had sent them everything, and they
Right.
said they want it again. So I
Right.
just made a copy and sent it back in again, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I never quite figure out why the first one didn't work when I
Yeah.
got to send the second one.
So, there's those kind of glitches that happen. But
Yeah.
for the most part, all of our volunteers are trained. They get certified at the advanced level, including myself. And they sit down. Clients are told to bring certain pieces of information.
And you tell them that ahead of time
So
that
everybody that we...
you don't want to waste
yeah.
time with them coming in and then going back out
Right.
and coming
the,
back in.
The returns that we did last year, all those individuals will get a postcard from us. And it just reminds them the dates that the program operates. They need to bring a valid picture ID card like their driver's license, a regular state ID, passport if they have it. We also ask them to bring the original Social Security cards for the person filing and for any dependents. They're going to be included.
The original one, I don't even know where mine
Yeah,
is.
well, it's important because of the risk of identity theft.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, especially like if you're dealing with a family where the mother and father are estranged and they alternate child custody. And sometimes
1 year, one could take it 1 year and the other takes it
but
the
then
other.
you get some individuals that want to take it all the time. So that's why we
okay,
ask
yeah.
for the Social Security card. We want to see your W-2s and your 1099s from this year, from 2023, because we got to provide that information. And they go through an actual question and answer process. And you've done it yourself, where you fill in the data as it's asked.
Well, I've been doing my taxes online for years.
Yeah, and people can continue to do that if they feel comfortable. They can go to myfreetaxes.com.
That's where I went last time.
And then you can do both your federal and state.
And it's done.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
The other thing we want to see is if anybody got their health insurance through the New York State of Health Marketplace, There's a premium associated with that particular insurance. So the client is usually issued a 1095A form. And that tells us...
Keep all those papers.
Yeah, keep everything. Routing numbers and account numbers for both checking and savings. And if you're claiming dependent care expense, we need to know the child, we need to know the caregiver's Social Security number and the amount of money that you paid them. Again, it runs from the last week of January through April 15th. We are doing both types. We're doing a face-to-face interaction, or
You can do it on Zoom, like? Not Zoom,
no,
but-
face-to-face. They actually come into the building
Okay, yeah.
and sit down with the volunteer. Or you can come into the building, drop off your banking and tax
Really?
information, and then we assign it to somebody. They'll sit down, they'll fill out your return. If they have any questions, they'll call you directly. They review the return with you, either on the phone.
What a service.
Yeah, or you can come in, and that's how we did it during COVID.
Yeah.
Was the
Drop it off.
drop-off pickup service.
Yeah,
So
I
that's-
guess we were doing it through that. I almost forgot because I wasn't doing any shows during that time.
Yeah. So if anybody's got any questions, they can give us a call at 518-462-0899.
I think we have that number up on your
Yep.
screen here.
They can also go to our website, www.circlesofmercy.org. We'll have information there. But the other thing to do is, if you're not one of our clients, but you want to get your taxes done, and your viewers are in a large geographical area, one of the things they can do is dial 211. The 211 resource.
That'll tell you where you can go get
Right,
it
you
done.
just give them your you give them your zip code.
Not your Social Security.
Yeah, you give them your zip code, and they'll tell you what sites are available near you.
Yeah. Are there any? Do you know of any scams that are out there regarding taxes? No.
No, not right now.
The only scam I think is when they say we'll give you an instant refund.
Yeah, and that we try to that's one of the reasons that we provide the service. It's one of the reasons the IRS wants to make available the services, that clients are entitled to tax credits if they're working, whether it's the earned income tax credit or child care credits. Those are all things that help lift a family out of poverty.
Exactly.
I mean, it's and then what we don't want to see, to your point, is somebody going into a commercial preparer, taking out a loan based upon what they think they're going to get as a refund.
And they take a cut.
They take a cut, and then there's an interest on that loan. Until, imagine that, interest on the loan, and then
See, they don't realize it's a loan because they kind of say it's a refund, an advanced refund.
Yeah,
so they don't think, oh, I'm getting a loan. And
Yeah.
you're looking at like 1 week.
Yeah, so don't do that. Be patient. Go to a VITA site. If you're not sure, give us a call.
Right.
Go to the
Or
IRS.
211.
211. You can go to the IRS.gov website. Everything about VITA and sites are available there. You can also go to the New York State Tax and Finance website.
Okay.
And there are links all there to help somebody with their taxes.
So if you need to have your if you want to have your taxes done for free, yeah, which I think who doesn't, and you fall into that category, if you're making $1 million, don't give him a call.
Yeah.
You don't care,
They
right?
can
Let
afford- yeah.
him pay for something to do it. Richard Zazycki, Circles of Mercy, please check them out. They do this every year. They're wonderful, and we always appreciate having them come on the show. And he'll be on again next month, I believe, to kind of do a little bit more on this, to give you an update, because remember, they're always updating these forms.
Thanks,
right?
Ann. Have a nice holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.
Yeah, good to have you here.
Good
We'll
to
see
be
you
here.
next month.
Thank you.
Okay, good. And now we're going to talk about Beat the Snow concert.
Yeah, Beat the Snow concerts. And
I can't believe how much you've expanded this.
Well,
I believe you've expanded it. Maybe I'm wrong.
And actually, it's kind
Used
of
to be through March.
a
I
funny story, yes, that happens when you're doing this kind of work. So Beat the Snow concert series are 1-hour concerts every Sunday in the McChesney room, except for, of course, the book sale and also Easter.
which is incorporated into our time this year, which is one of the reasons it got moved. Some of the things moved into April.
Yeah, we talked about that probably when they were doing the scheduling, they think of the Easter being in April, but it really fell into
Yes,
March this year.
yes, March 31st this
Yeah.
year. So this is the concert series at 2 o'clock for an hour, free, open to the public in the McChesney room, so it's nice and warm and cozy. And one of the things that is so good, still coming out of pandemic, doctors are talking and psychiatrists and stuff about the fact that the lack of community during the pandemic
It was terrible, yeah.
has really still taken a toll on so many people. And if you have sat at any concert where you're all watching, listening to the same
Shared
music,
experience.
shared experience with somebody else, and they're laughing and they're clapping the same time as you, it is just so good for our soul and our psyche.
You're absolutely right, and this proves it because you see the people there,
Oh, yeah.
and they want to get right up the front seats, and they're really if they're singing along, they're singing along.
Yes, oh my gosh, I've had some people and very proudly say to me after the series is over, I made every single one of these concerts. And actually, because my husband and I sometimes travel, I can't even say that.
Yeah, but you do all the work behind it.
Well, yes. So
You've got
the
a
reason-
sing-along coming up
We
soon.
do, and one of the reasons that we're going into April is that I had this pretty much set because I start working on it in September. And because people have to check their schedule, a lot of people are busy.
Absolutely.
So we're getting it moved along, and it was pretty much set. And then it's like a reminder, oh yes, that's right, Easter is the 31st, so we had to move that group. And another group that we have had for years, one of the members was having surgery.
So they had to
and
change that, yeah.
Yes, they needed several weeks to heal, so it's like, oh my gosh. And I didn't want to disrupt bump everybody because that wouldn't work. So that's why we've extended things into April. And then I get a call from a new group, and he is associated with the Musicians Union.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
it's like,
the
oh,
Schenectady, Amsterdam
April.
one, yeah.
Yes, April is Jazz Month. Or
It is,
something.
it is.
And so therefore, it's like, do you have any room for me? And originally, my answer was like, well, not really. We're finishing up the first week of April. And then as those two things happened, and we needed to do the second and third, it's like, fine. Come
We'll just
on
do it.
in.
We're gonna fill up April.
Come on in.
It's called Beat the Spring Crocuses.
Yes, exactly. It'll be beating the spring flowers this year towards the end. But we generally have beat the snow really well in that this is my 9th year doing it, and we've only had to cancel a couple times. Which
Of
is
snow,
pretty good.
yeah.
Yep. And this whole program was started by Ron and Chris Patrick. Ron played, I'm pretty sure it was the French horn, because he used to play right here in the orchestra.
How long has this been going on?
I've done it for 9, and they have done it.
It's been
according
around
to
as long as I can
another
remember
7.
almost, yeah.
So at least we're going somewhere between 16 and 20 years.
Yeah.
And some of the people here have done it every year. Schenectady Light Opera, musicians.
And they do a
now
different
with-
show every time.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And they
Just
will
because you see the
plan
names the
for it.
same, it's a different show.
No, different show. I mean, Bien Bazet and Michael Clement in the end of January, they're going to do their whole show around Spanish music. Some of it will
Olé.
be yes, olé. Some of it will be in Spanish, and some of it will be popular music from Spain. And some of the combinations get a little different. We've had quintography on,
They've been,
which
yeah.
is 5 brass people, and now they're doing it a little different, and they're adding a cellist. And I've actually, one of the benefits of helping you with your show is that I see good people.
Yeah, you do.
You
I know, we got good
Guilty
people.
Little Pleasure. She's not on this year because I just ran out of room.
Yeah.
But she's been on the show a few times. Also, your barbershop, the
Oh, and
Forgettable
the Forgettable
Four.
Four has been on the show a number of times,
Many
and they're coming
times.
on again, yeah.
And they will be on our program, and this is the first time that we've been able to line people up.
Yeah.
So I already have 2 people that wanted to come, and I said, no, the end of April is enough.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're already on the docket for next year. So
Yeah.
we have.
How
a
about Beat the
wonderful-
Heat concerts?
In the summertime, I'm making sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's what I do then. But, so there's a wonderful variety of music. We try to make sure that we bring in some new people all the time. Every year, there's some new people. But we're starting off on December 17th, so in a couple, days.
Just a few
it's gonna
days,
be-
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be with us. All the concerts are at 2 o'clock, so 2, V for Victory, 2. And on the 17th, we're gonna have a holiday sing-along with another one of your workers.
Yeah, Malcolm Kogut, yeah.
Kogut. So we're gonna have all the words there. You don't have to worry about if you've forgotten them.
Uh-huh.
They'll be on a screen. And I was talking with one of my friends last night who's a musician, and she goes, "Oh, Jan, it's gonna be holiday karaoke." And it's like, no. Because it
No.
will have live music.
Why
you
does she
know?
think it's karaoke?
Oh, because they have the words there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right.
yeah, but sometimes we forget words.
Yes,
Yeah,
everybody does
yeah.
occasionally. So it's a wonderful program. It is sponsored by the Schenectady County Public Library, Friends of
The Friends of the Library.
that organization.
And if you don't belong to the Friends of the Library, you should. And because it's so important, first of all, we would not have these kind of programs. And these aren't the only programs that Friends of the Library does. They do a lot of things that augment our library. And it's rather interesting. I was talking to somebody, and actually I send this out. And they said, I can't believe what your library does. Our library doesn't do anything.
Yes, and actually, just music-wise, other libraries in our area have people come in for concerts, but nobody has a series like
No,
this.
not at all.
And they have a lot of book and learning opportunities for people, as well as computer support.
The computer
And
courses
this is
and how to
all
use
supported.
Facebook and how to use your iPhone. And if
right.
you can't learn something at the library, but take a book out too and read it.
Yes, yes.
Just don't take them out. Read them. Read books.
Yes.
And believe me, we need to keep those banned books on those shelves.
We do. Yeah.
You know,
I
I'm
mean,
just
sure
so
that
concerned.
Well, even in the history of music, when Stravinsky brought his piece out, people are going, "What is that?" And
Yeah.
now, of course, it's commonplace.
It's a commonplace, yeah. Well, Jan, I think that you're going to get a big crowd at each one of these, and if you're concerned, go to when I send out my weekly update. I have all of those dates in that, so you can follow that and check out what's going on in our community. Not only the people that've been on the show, but other events as well. I want to tell you who's coming up for our next show. We're going to be talking a conversation with Byron Nielsen, and he's really an interesting guy. We're going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking about Folklore Society. They're doing paper cuts, and I love paper cuts. So, and then the Kwanzaa celebration is coming up. So I want to mention that as well. So we've got a great lineup coming up, and I hope that you'll join us for our show next time. I'm Ann Pearl, your host and producer of Capital Region Today. Thank you so much for watching.